Hello again, welcome to another edition of CropLife Retail Week. Paul Schrimpf here with Sfiligoj.
Yes.
You're back from the wilds of San Antonio.
The wilds of San Antonio.
You weren't accosted on the Riverwalk at all. You managed to get back and forth from your hotel safely.
No, it was Paul. The 2020 Commodity Classic was very nice. Over 9,000 people were in attendance. They had a record number of growers on hand, a little over 4,600 based on the number I saw Friday late before I left on Saturday. And, most people there were in a very positive mood for 2020. Not too much in the way of new product launches, Paul. A lot of things are talked about for the 2021 season will be coming out. And of course, sort of behind the scenes, a lot of people were talking about coronavirus. It wasn't on any of the speaking agendas, but people are a little worried about what that's going to do to the general economy, but most people seem to think that agriculture will be fine, even with some disruption in the market over the next month or two.
Well, I think, I don't know, as city folk, I think we're all kind of resigned to the fact that we'll probably have a couple of weeks of of being cloistered at some point, just because it seems almost with all the movement and where people are popping up, right, inevitable that it just seems like every community is going to get hit with something. So it certainly seems like it'll be a disruption in the city side, but from a standpoint of the rural communities, not so much.
Right.
I don't know.
The only thing I did read in the last day or so is that they're speculating now that because of coronavirus and its disruption in the Chinese marketplace, that China's demand for soybean products like oil and meal for 2020 may be reduced between 4 and 7% from what it would have normally been in a normal calendar year. So
sure, we can all expect that, I think. So that's interesting. Grower mood is, I guess when you get this close to the season and planting, you kind of forget about what happened in the past and really focus on the future. And yes. I see, on Twitter, you see a lot of folks posting pictures about, well, it's been 50 degrees for a couple days, and everybody's getting antsy and ready to hop behind a planter and get moving.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything here in Ohio yet, but I know you've got a trip coming up in the next week or so where you'll be driving around the state a little bit. So we'll have to let our viewers know what type of field activity you might be seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. A little few retail visits and see what's going on.
Yeah. So one other thing at the Commodity Classic, Sonny Perdue spoke there, as he has the past couple of years, as one of the keynote speakers. And I got a little video clip here he's talking about the perception of the ag economy versus the reality of the ag economy, and talks a little bit about what calendar years 2009 to 2014 did for that perception. So here's the clip.
On the floor, you were talking about wanting farmers to produce for the market. After the Outlook Forum, the price projections before the coronavirus, a lot of people are talking about farmers having losses per acre growing corn, for example. How do you produce for a market that you're going to lose money?
Well, it's challenging. Obviously, that's what farming's all about. If you look at the price history I've asked our economists to look at, we're giving you some averages on from 90 to 2000, from 2000 on. What we've gotten used to in agriculture is look at the profitability of agriculture based on those years from 9 to 14. And that's what we like to think is normal. I've been in agriculture a long time. It wasn't normal for me. Those were career high years in 9 to 14. I'd love to return to them, and I think at some point with this growing need globally, we can return there. But that's what we think is there. We're projecting farm income to be up above the average of the 30-year average in that way this year. So that's the challenge. Obviously, some are more efficient than others, but it's tough out there. I'm not trying to sugarcoat the fact that farming is not in a gloriously overly profitable period right now. So I hear the question, and farmers do what they always done, and that's going to do the best with what they've got out there and what they're given from the market perspective.
So that's what Sonny Perdue had to say regarding the ag economy this year versus some of those high watermark years of 2009 to 2014. One other thing, Paul, to mention is he basically said that given market conditions, that he's saying that farmers shouldn't expect another round of the market facilitation program payments here in 2020. President Trump had mentioned that a payment might be available if needed, but Sonny's message to the growers out there was don't expect it, to plan to make money in the market the old-fashioned way by earning it from your crop sales.
Well, there's two sides to that. One is absolutely farmers go for it every year, and it's kind of silly to think anyone's going to sandbag for an expected possible payment. On the other hand, if things do go south, this is an election year, so I don't know. I think it's like I think you have a positive side of the bargain either way, but certainly the farmers we know are going to go out there and do everything they can to make as much as they can.
Absolutely, and I know every farmer I know pretty much will welcome that market economy coming back into play rather than having to get a government payment to help them.
Yes.
So a couple other things to share, comings and goings. Paul, I know a couple of videos ago we reported on Mid Kansas Coop president CEO. That was Dave Christensen's going to be retiring here in about a month in early April. And at that point, we did not have the successor name, but now we have found out who the new person will be taking over at Mid Kansas Coop. And it's going to be a gentleman by the name of Brad Steadman, who comes over from Winfield United, where he served as the Western Business Unit Manager. Brad had to say that he's honored to be selected as Mid Kansas's next CEO. It's a privilege to be a part of a team that has consistently delivered results while focusing on the success of the customer, our farmer owners. So welcome aboard, Brad. Hope your time goes well. I don't know this gentleman, Paul. Have you ever met him?
I do not, although it's interesting. We have two Land O'Lakes executives who shifted over to retail management. Mm-hmm. Says something about Land O'Lakes and Winfield and what they're doing, to kind of train these folks up and kind of progressive things that they're working on. When an opportunity to run an outlet or run an operation comes along, they're moving on over. So
yeah. So and Brad, be sure to look for a CropLife 100 form from me sometime in August. A little hint, and please fill that out, or have your friends Dave Spears and a few others at Mid Kansas Co-op do so, as they have the last couple of years.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then a bit of sad news to share. We found out here in early March that Dick Anderson, former chair and president for the Andersons here in Ohio, had passed away at the age of 90. Dick was one of the family members that back in 1947 actually helped found the Andersons. And Pat Bowe, the president and CEO of the Andersons, had this to say: Dick spent his entire life serving others and truly embodied the Andersons' values and principles. He was a pillar of our community and our company, serving both with the utmost integrity. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the Andersons family on the loss of one of their founders, Dick Anderson.
Yeah, absolutely. They've always been a great organization for us. They've always welcomed us when we've come to visit and bring over new employees. I know when we were talking about identity preserved big time back in the early 2000s, we got a lot of we found a lot more about grain and what they were trying to do on that front. So we always appreciated the organization. They were always very professional and terrific.
Yep.
And we do wish our best to you.
Yep. That's about all I got this week.
All right. Well, that's it for this. You know what? It's one of those weeks where I can't finish, so I'm going to let you do it.
All right. That's it for this edition of CropLife Retail Week. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon.
If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comment section below.
Your feedback is important to us. We'll try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode.
And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.